morning, everyone, and happy Monday. Welcome to Wake Up and Yoga, which is sponsored by VegFest, Global Breath Studio, and Orgain. My name is Allie. I use she, her pronouns, and I am on the ancestral lands of the Eno, Lumbee, Tuscarora, and Shakori. That land is also known as Durham, North Carolina, currently. This morning, we are going to do an open up sequence. We'll stay mainly close to the ground. Just wake up the body and get ready for the week. So I would invite you to grab a blanket or any props that you might want to have throughout practice. I would say a blanket or pillow, just something soft would be really nice to add in at a few points during practice. So if there's a chat function that you can use on Facebook if you'd like to. I'd love to know where y'all are coming from. So if you want to drop into the chat just where you are currently in the world, that would be awesome. I can check the chat at the end of the practice and I'll get to respond to a few things. So feel free to leave anything in there throughout the practice. And I think with that, let's just get started. So go ahead and find a seat. You can be in a cross-legged position or any position that's comfortable for you. Find some grounding with the earth, maybe rooting the sit bones down into the ground, lifting the crown of the head high towards the sky, letting the shoulders drop away from the ears, hands resting on the knees. Eyes can be closed or gaze soft. Begin to notice how you're feeling this morning, what thoughts are coming up. And notice the breath, bringing the attention back to the inhale and the exhale throughout this practice. I invite you to come back to the phrase or affirmation this morning of I am open. If that doesn't work for you, you can choose anything else. Just fill in the blank, I am, and then whatever you need it to be this week. I'll use I am open this morning for myself, and we'll use this practice to open up the body, hopefully just open up the mind and our energy to anything that today has in store for us. So begin to find some neck rolls here. If you want to, stretch out the neck, just going in one direction to start. Letting the ear drop to the side and then chin down to the chest, rolling around. And then we'll switch in the other direction. And come back to neutral with your head. And on an inhale, we'll sweep the arms out to the side and up overhead, reaching tall. Fingers up towards the sky, maybe gaze towards the sky. And on an exhale, drop the hands into cactus arms. Down by your side, opening the heart. Inhale, arms up overhead. And on an exhale, we'll put our hands together, palms together, and dive forward. And then up and back, arms overhead. Exhale, bring right hand to floor, left arm reaches to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, left hand drops to the left, right arm reaches to the left. And inhale, back to center. On an exhale, we'll twist to the right, left hand comes to right knee. Gaze back behind us. And inhale, back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, moving on to the other side, right hand to left knee. Gaze out over the left shoulder. And inhale back to center. We'll go through one more time with this. So dropping hands back down to the sides. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale and cactus arms. Inhale, arms to center. Exhale, dive forward with the hands, with the heads, and sweep back up overhead. Exhale, drop right hand to right side, reach to the right. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, reach to the left. Inhale, arms to center. Exhale, twist to right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, back to center. And then gently drop your hands back down by your sides. Just come back to the breath here. And we'll roll forward over the knees and find our way into tabletop position. In tabletop, root all 5 fingers into the earth. Root the tops of the feet and the knees into the earth. Knees are under the pelvis. And then we'll begin to find cat-cow. On an inhale, gaze lifts up towards the sky, tailbone towards the sky. Exhale, spine rounds, tailbone drops. Inhale, gaze to sky, tailbone to sky. And exhale, gaze towards the heart, tailbone drops to your earth. Inhale, belly drops. And exhale, spine rounds. And take a few more rounds following your breath. Maybe faster, maybe slower. We'll take a few more breaths here to find any other movement that you might want. You don't have to stay in that single cat-cow plane. Moving around, maybe moving hips side to side, or rolling around the shoulders, around the wrists, forward and back, whatever you need. Finding some movements in all the sticky spots. Maybe you'll get some cracks as you're moving around like I do. It's all good. Knowing in this practice, in every practice, you are your own best teacher. And so whatever your body feels like it needs, go ahead and do that. You can just use what I say as a guide or a suggestion, but really listen to yourself, especially as we open up the day. Your body knows what it needs to wake up. All right, so from here, we'll walk our hands forward on the mat, reaching long, and then letting the tailbone and the pelvis come above the knees. And we'll let our head drop towards the mat. Maybe the forehead is on the mat, or if you have a lot of space, maybe your chin even comes to the mat. This is puppy pose. We use puppy pose to stretch out the shoulders, stretch out the chest, just open up the upper body. Breathing in puppy. And then go ahead and drop your seat back towards your heels, arms still reaching long ahead of you. Make our way to our first child's pose. Again, stretching out the back here, letting the belly drop. And coming home to yourself in this child's pose. Again, noticing how you're doing, coming back to breath. From child's pose, lift back up into tabletop position. Then we'll bring in just a little bit of heat. So tuck the toes And then root into the hands. And then we'll lift our knees just a little bit. So knees are going maybe 1 inch above the ground. And we'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees. And then we'll push up into our first down dog, letting the heels drop towards the earth, rooting into the hands. Maybe the knees are bent on this first down dog, or any down dog knees can be bent. Maybe pedaling out the feet, letting the tailbone reach high and back towards the heels. Letting the head drop. And finding that long line of energy between your wrists and your tailbone. From here, lift the right heel towards the sky, and then tuck the right knee in towards the chest, and let the right foot fall at the front of the mat in between the hands. Here's where you might want to use a blanket. I always like to pad my back knee, so we'll drop our left knee to the mat. Maybe go ahead and find something soft if you'd like to. And from here, your hands can come up towards the right knee, or arms reach up overhead. This is monkey pose. Reach tall, monkey, and then on an exhale, drop the hands down into cactus. Reach up overhead, nice and tall. Maybe the hips fall forward a little bit. And then on the exhale, we'll let the hands drop to frame the front right foot. And we'll walk our hands back on the right leg, letting the right toes come up towards the sky, pelvis above the left knee. Chest can be forward or nose can come towards the knee. This is half split. It's really nice to open up the back of the leg. Breathe here in half split. And then walk the hands back to the front of the mat. Root the left hand into the earth. And reach the right hand up towards the sky, opening the chest, reaching tall. If you'd like to here, you can tuck the back toes and find a little bit more of an active pose. Inhale. And on an exhale, drop the right hand on the inside of the right foot and wiggle the right foot towards the outside of the mat so we can find lizard pose here. On lizard, we want to make space for the hips, for the pelvis. That's why you can walk the right foot out towards the side a little bit if that feels better. In lizard, it's an active pose, so your chest shines forward, gaze is forward, like a lizard looking out to the horizon. And your hands can be rooted into the earth, or if you have some more space, you can maybe come down with your forearms to a block, or maybe forearms to earth, but that's a little much for me. We'll take 5 deep breaths here in lizard. When you feel ready, come back onto your hands in lizard, tuck the back toe, and then bring the right foot to meet the left at the back of the mat. Hold in plank for a breath. And then drop all the way onto the belly. You can come knees, chest, chin, and drop onto the belly. From here, the hands are by your chest or your side, elbows tucked in. And then we'll lift the chest up towards whatever's in front of you. For me, it's a wall in front of me. And drop the chest back down. One more time, lifting heart up, not pushing too much out of your hands, just a little bit, and drop back down. From here, we'll push back into tabletop and drop the seat into another child's pose. Just take a rest for a breath or two. And we'll move on to the other side. So coming back into tabletop. Probably know what's next. Tuck the toes, root into the hands. And then for a quick count of 5, we'll lift the knees and inch off the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees back. And then we will lift ourselves up into down dog. Tailbone reaches up towards the sky and back towards the heels. Heels drop, if they can, towards the earth. Root into all 5 fingers. Let the head drop. Lift the left heel towards the sky. And then tuck the left knee in towards the nose and let the left foot drop in between the hands at the front of the mat. Grab your blanket again if you'd like. Pad the back knee. Let the right knee drop towards the mat. Chest is forward. And from here, you can bring the hands towards the front knee or arms up overhead. Again, reaching tall. Finding stretch in the front of the right leg, not hip flexor. Reach tall, and on an exhale, come into cactus arms. Inhale, arms back up overhead. Maybe hips come forward just a little bit. And drop the hands back down to the mat. Right hand roots into the earth. And the left hand reaches tall towards the sky. Maybe your right knee stays down. Maybe your right knee comes up for a little bit more of an active pose in the legs. Regardless, reach up towards the earth. Reach up towards the sky. Finding a nice twist. And drop the hand back towards the inside of the left foot, walking the left toes towards the outside of the mat. And finding our lizard. Again, in lizard, your back knee can be up or your knee can be down, whichever you'd like. And your forearms can come down towards the earth if you have some space for that, or onto a block. Stay here for 4 more breaths in lizard. And then push into the hands, nice and strong in the arms. Tuck the back toe and move the left foot to meet the right at the back of the mat. Hold in plank this time for 2 breaths. And then we'll drop onto the mat, maybe knees coming first. Belly comes onto the mat. From here, hands are by your sides, by your chest, elbows tucked in. And we'll reach our chest forward, and maybe you can come a little bit higher in this cobra, only if you have space, and dropping back to the mat. And then push out of the hands, and find strength in the back, coming into another cobra, maybe even up dog this time if you have that in your practice, and dropping back to the mat. From here, tailbone comes back to meet the feet in child's pose. Arms can be long out in front of you on the mat, or if you'd like this time, you can have thighs together and hands down by your sides. In child's pose with that second variation, opening up the low back. Breathe here in child's pose. Noticing any effects of the practice so far. And then from child's pose, slowly lift yourself back up into a seated position on your heels. And then let your hips drop towards one side. And however it feels good for you, make your way onto your backs on the mat. So here on your back, your hands will be down by your sides, your feet are on the earth, knees are pointing towards the sky. And then we'll root our shoulders into the earth, feet into the earth, and then lift the pelvis towards the sky, coming into a bridge pose. Maybe your hands interlace, fingers interlace below your tailbone. Thighs are parallel with one another. Breathe here in bridge. And then we'll drop back down to the earth. I'll do a little bit of dynamic bridge pose. What we can do here is on an inhale, you'll reach the arms up overhead as you lift the pelvis towards the sky. And on an exhale, drop the arms back down the side, pelvis lowered onto the ground. Inhale into bridge, and exhale, coming back down. Let's go ahead and take a few rounds of that at your own pace. If you don't want to use the arms, no worries. Do whatever feels best for you. Last round. And then hug the knees in towards the chest. Maybe roll around a little bit here, side to side. Massaging out the muscles along the spine. Maybe massaging out the low back and tailbone. And then drop the feet back down to the earth. With the right leg, foot towards the sky, and then wrap the right leg around the left leg. Arms come out into a T or into cactus arms. And let the knees drop towards the left side. If you have space in your body, your gaze can come out over the right hand. Getting a nice stretch in the right side of your body. Getting that openness here. I am open. Breathing into the twist. On an inhale, knees come back to center, up towards the sky, both feet back to the ground. Then lift the left foot towards the sky and wrap the left leg around the right leg, letting the knees fall towards the right. Gaze comes out over the left shoulder, over the left hand. And open up with that twist, twisting the spine. Open up the space between the vertebrae, massaging out the internal organs, maybe finding a nice stretch in your left shoulder, left side of your hips and upper legs. I am open. And then bringing knees back up to center once again. Both feet on the ground. Unwrap the legs and then hug the knees in towards the chest one more time. Giving yourself a really big morning hug. And letting everything drop down to the earth. Hands down by your sides. Toes drop out towards the sides. We'll find our Savasana here. If you need any last poses, go ahead and take that before Shavasana. Otherwise, go ahead and hang out here in Shavasana, lying on your back, noticing the points of your body that have contact with the earth. Maybe the back of your head, shoulders, your hands. Maybe your seat, your calves, and your heels, all in contact with the earth and held up by the earth. Maybe letting your front body open, remembering I am open. Open to whatever opportunities come out throughout the week. Open to any challenges, any good times, any hard times. Not resisting, but flowing through those. Maybe bring your attention back to the breath, feeling the breath come into the belly and letting all the air come out. Maybe bring some movement back into your fingers, back into your toes. And then if you'd like to reach your arms long overhead, reach toes away from the fingers in a nice stretch. And then tuck knees and elbows in toward one another and gently allow yourself to roll to one side, maybe head resting on the upper arm. From here, letting your head come last and giving yourself plenty of time. Slowly roll up into seated. Coming maybe back into a cross-legged seat. Keeping the eyes closed. Again, reconnecting with your breath. And reconnecting with whatever statement it is that you created for yourself at the beginning of practice. Maybe it's I am open. Maybe it's something else. Just let that sink in and sit with you as we prepare to move throughout the day and throughout the week. I'd like to close practice with the sound of Om, the universal vibration connecting all beings, connecting all of us to one another, no matter where in the world we are. and connecting us with all other beings. So if you'd like to join, exhale all the air out. Deep inhale. Thank you so much for joining me and joining this community on a Monday morning or whatever time it is for you, your part of the world. May you be open and may you find sunshine and brightness this week. Thank you all. So I'll slide forward for just a minute so I can see if anything came in the chat. No pressure to put anything there, but if you'd like to, would love to hear whatever it is that whatever statement you created for yourself. I am open, or I am something else. And we are back here every Monday morning at 8 a.m. I'll be joining for the next 2 weeks, and then I have 2 other friends who are taking over from there. But regardless, someone from Global Breath will be on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. throughout the summer. I am Allie, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thank you to VegFest, Global Breath, and Orgain. Hi, Joseph. Thank you for your comments. It was so good to have you this morning. Thanks, Kendra. Thanks, Triangle VegFest, for the posts. Thanks, Kira. I hope you all have beautiful weeks, and I hope to see you again soon. Take so much care.